Hi everyone, welcome to Alexander's Bedtime Story Time. He bought a brand new book today that he wants to share with you guys. What's it called, Bugs?
Peppa.
Peppa. Say good night, Peppa. Say it loud. Good night, Peppa.
Peppa.
All right.
Yeah,
This is for all of our Peppa Pig fans. Come sit down. This one's Good Night, Peppa.
Good night, Peppa.
All right, here we go.
Pizza.
Yeah. One night, Granny and Grandpa Pig came over for dinner. Late that night, Mummy and Daddy Pig were going out.
Papa.
Granny and Grandpa Pig would stay and babysit Peppa and George. Who's that? Granny.
Papa.
Grandpa Pig.
Daddy. Mommy.
And who's this?
Patrick.
And who's that?
Papa.
All right, what's this?
Moon.
All right, come sit down. It was almost bedtime for Peppa and George, but they weren't tired at all. Can we jump in muddy puddles for just a tiny bit? Asked Peppa. Okay, said Daddy Pig, but just until bath time. Peppa and George jumped up and down until they were covered in mud, but they weren't tired yet. Peppa, George, called Daddy Pig, time to take a bath before bed. See, they're all muddy. Yeah. All right, you're sliding. Peppa and George splashed it in the, what are they in? In the bath until they were both nice and clean. Yeah. You must be tired after all that splashing, said Daddy Pig. We're not even a little bit tired, cried Peppa. Laughed George. What does George say? How does George talk? He goes, do George sound? No, you're just going to let Mommy do it? George and Peppa taking a bath. All right. Peppa and George hopped out of the bathtub. Then they dried off and put on their pajamas very slowly. What are these? Yeah. Then they brushed their teeth for an extra long time. Brush, brush, brush. Time to get into bed, said Mummy Pig. We want to tuck you in. Yippee! Cheered Peppa. So they jumped out of the tub and they put on their pajamas and they brushed their teeth. Yes. Mummy and Daddy Pig were ready to leave. Remember, Granny and Grandpa Pig are right downstairs if you need anything, said Mummy Pig. Good night, Peppa.
Good night, George.
Good night, George. Good job. Mummy and Daddy Pig got in their car and left for the evening. See, they're all tucked in, and Mommy and Daddy Pig left for the evening. Where are you going? Okay, come on, come sit down. George, are you awake? Peppa asked. George snorted. The lights were off and they were cozy in their beds, but they couldn't fall asleep. Granny and Grandpa Pig were watching TV when they heard little feet come downstairs. Peppa, George, you should be in bed, said Granny Pig. We aren't sleepy at all, said Peppa. Can we watch TV with you? What did they want to watch? Watch what? Yeah. So they were in their beds. You're going to go to the other side and look. They were in their beds. And then they went downstairs to see Granny and Grandpa Pig. All right, come on. Granny Pig smiled. Well, I suppose watching a little TV might make you sleepy. Hooray! Yay, shouted George and Peppa.
John.
Peppa and George didn't like the TV show. Peppa and George didn't like the TV show. Okay, Grandma and Grandpa Pig said, can you play that game where you throw us up in the air and catch us? Up and then up and down. Okay, said Grandpa Pig, but only one turn each. Yeah, what does Peppa have?
Down.
What's this?
Teddy.
Teddy, what's that?
Mr. Dinosaur.
Mr. Dinosaur. See Peppa's Teddy and Mr. Dinosaur? And they're playing that game where Grandpa Pig jumps up and down. Alexander comes sit down. Come on. He's excited about Peppa Pig. Later, Mommy and Daddy Pig returned home from their night out. Snore. The little piggies. Yeah, the little piggies are asleep, Daddy Pig laughed. And so are the big piggies. Yes, Teddy and Mr. Dinosaur are also asleep. All right. And then what's next? The end. Thank you for joining us to read our bedtime story.
Goodbye.
Good night.